First vacuum.
Vacuum.
I was 28. Well, I can't anxiety that.
All righty, commissioners. Welcome back and over to you, Chair Harrington.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Washington County Board of Commissioners work session for this day, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. This is Chair Catherine Harrington. I'm joined in the room by Commissioner Pam Treese, Commissioner Nafisa Fai, Commissioner Jason Snyder, and online we have Commissioner Jerry Willey. Thanks for joining us, sir. I know you're still dealing with the following doctor's orders for following medical procedures, so your board fully supports your following doctor's orders. So, but we very much appreciate your participating as best as you can. So we have quite a lengthy list of topics for today's work session. So without further ado, we'll get to topic 1 on the Washington County and Service District for Lighting number 1 and the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District and Urban Road Maintenance District. Welcome, Mr. Steyer.
Good morning, Chair and Board. I'm here today to talk about the Budget Committee and selections. We have a couple of vacancies. Propose some nominations or recommendations for membership. So as you may know, we have by Oregon law required to have a budget committee for each of our main Washington County budget and our special districts. It's comprised of the governing body, yourselves, and 5 lay persons in each of the budget committees. We currently have 1 vacancy in the Washington County and Service District for lighting number 1 vacancy in our ESPD and URMD, and then 2 vacancies in North Bethany County Service District for roads. Today I have 4 applicants that apply for the Washington County Budget Committee. I do not have any additional candidates for North Bethany. So, the team that is there participated last year and we're very well for the committee. So of the applicants, we had 4. Just kind of run down their backgrounds and our recommendations. Nicholas Torino is a resident of District 3. He's served in public affairs positions throughout his career. He's currently Oregon State Fire Marshal Public Affairs Specialist. He's been in the U.S. Navy. He's worked for Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And in this experience, he has managed budgets. And in our interview, one of the questions we ask is what challenges do we have facing the county today? And he very quickly talked about Measure 5 and Measure 50. I was very impressed. He holds a Master's of Science in Public Management. Relatively new resident of Washington County, but very motivated to get involved in the community. And, based on that interview, we are recommending him for the Washington County Committee to fill out Big Unander's term as he resigned in December. The second candidate was Tara Van Dyke, also a very qualified person. Currently serving as Director of Fiscal Operations at the Northwest Regional Education Service District. She holds an MBA in Finance and has 20 years of finance and accounting experience. So we're going to keep her on the rolls for applicants as we will have vacancies coming up in June. And then the last candidate, Steve Hildick. He's a resident of District 1. He's basically self-employed for most of his career. He's semi-retired, wanting to get involved in the community and learn more about how the county budget operates and how we operate things. He is the one candidate of the pool that is in the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District and URMD District, so I'm recommending him for that committee. And then the last candidate we had was Bridget Daisy, who accepted a position with another committee and elected not to interview. The recommendations are here on the board. Appoint Nicholas Torino to the Washington County Budget Committee and appoint Steve Hildick to the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District and URMD District. Any questions you might have on these recommendations?
I'm impressed with the candidates.
Yes,
So
yeah,
that's
very motivated.
and I'm in support of the recommendation.
Thank you.
John, thank you for bringing this forward.
I'm in support of your recommendation, and I think that we have a highly qualified, and I'm really excited for Nicholas,
Yes.
especially looking forward to learning more about his experience in the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. I feel like for public health folks, that's like a thing for us. So
Right.
very exciting. And then Steve is very impressive as well. And yeah, look forward to working. So you have, just so I understand, you have 2 more vacancies then to focus on.
Right.
And would you talk to us your plans to recruit for that, or
Right.
you're going to come back?
At this point, I'll have to come back on North Bethany. That is one that's hard to recruit for. There's not a lot of applicants for that committee. We continue to try to drum up support to be on the committee. They have to reside in the district to be on it. I'm excited we have the other 2 committees filled, and I've been keeping them informed on our roundtables as we progress through the year, and look forward to having our first kickoff with them in a month or 2.
Am I right to understand from this slide that there's, even after assuming we make these appointments, there still will be no budget committee members from District 4? Am I reading that correct?
I would have to look at, maybe the case,
I mean, I know that
based on the applicant pool that we get.
it's just, I don't know, concerning.
Bob and Spencer.
Bob is not in District 4.
And so
Spencer, I don't recall.
Yeah. I'll look at that. If we,
I guess maybe I'm reading this chart wrong.
are you looking at the
chart you have displayed on the screen,
Just shows where, in which district.
right?
the county commissioners.
So, and then this chart was confusing actually our budget committee members. So
doesn't matter.
for the board, your district is listed,
Mhm.
but for the budget committee members,
It's not.
we don't look for one
Okay,
representative from each district.
Right.
perfect.
Right, okay.
I was reading this very improperly. I'm glad that
Well-
I asked for that clarification.
Committee last year had the same concerns, like Bob, I think, said, I'm not in District 1 or
Yeah.
whatever it was. And I was like, well, that's
Oh.
not tied to the
Could
district.
just add another column in there that's blank and gray.
Right. Okay, I'll figure out how to,
Sarah
I like that
Pucci is
better.
definitely not in District
Yeah.
1. She's in District 2. And,
right,
so I followed. I didn't think it was alignment.
good question.
Sorry.
I'll update that with for clarification.
Yeah, thank you, Jason, for clarifying that. I was wondering about that as well. So thanks for that. And I'm thumbs up on this.
Thank you.
Oh my. Great.
Right, thank you.
Thank you again. And thank you in advance for all of those budget committee volunteers. It's a lot of work. All right, next we will move on to the appointment to the Rural Roads Operation and Maintenance Advisory Committee.
Morning, Todd Watkins, the operations manager, and with me is Sherry Gray, our community programs coordinator, and she will introduce our proposed member appointment for RROMAC.
Thank you, Todd.
Good morning. RROMAC, as you know, represents the rural side of the county for operations and maintenance. They have 2 current vacancies, and we have 1 application. Victoria Sager. That's the entire presentation, I guess.
And that's your recommendation?
Yeah, and that is our
Okay.
recommendation. Victoria actually has experience. She worked for the county for many years. Are you familiar with her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought I recognized her name.
Yes, she actually was in my position and retired a couple of years before I started. So that's our recommendation.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I just wanted, sorry, I didn't mean to dive in front of my colleagues. I just wanted to share personally, though, that boy, things have been exciting in our rural areas, particularly when it comes to roads and landslides and weather impacts to road travel. So I really appreciate not only the work from the full LUT team, but also from this meeting for just being great participants and eyes on this. And I know that includes Commissioner Will. And what day will this come back to us for full adoption?
I believe it will come back on the 17th.
Terrific. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
And keep
Richard,
up the
thank
good
you.
work. Okay, and now we're over to our GR legislative team. And I'll welcome Erin Doyle. I bet money that her team members are very inside the building in the Capitol.
They are, but they are online.
Oh, wow. Thank you for taking the time to join us today, team.
I'm mostly here as Vanna White today,
Somebody's got to direct the slides.
so I will speak slowly while they get let into the Zoom. But good morning, board. For your record, I'm Erin Doyle, the Policy and Government Affairs Division Manager in your CAO's office. Here.
Oh, fun, floating people. That's hilarious.
You might want to work on turning that background off for the Zoom there, Carly. There we are. The team has been hard at work. I mean, it was really fun to watch GR float through this session so far. We are a week and a day. It feels like, I think for them, about 14 years. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is the wrong PowerPoint slide cover. We just didn't change the front slide. That's what's happened. Apologies for that. So there is nothing related to the federal directed funding. I apologize for that error.
Okay, we can flex.
Thank you. So obviously we're going to start with the state budget just to put a context on the remainder of the session. Come back to the economic development packages and immigrant rights packages that we brought to your board at the end of January for your questions, considerations, and additional direction that you might have. And with that, I will turn it over to the team and they will, put a star to show you where we are. We are already like halfway through the list of things that are going to happen this session, but we've had the revenue forecast, so we'll talk about that. We are tentatively planning to come back on the 24th, and then we are looking forward to March 8th, which is the constitutional signing day. With that, we'll turn it over to Pablo, and he will tell me next slide when he's done.
Thank you, Erin. So yeah, I guess I'll just start with the revenue forecast. It was included in our GR memo, so I won't belabor the point, but the sort of key takeaways here, the economic growth is stabilizing. What we're seeing is that corporate income taxes brought in more than expected revenue for the state. Personal income taxes were actually down at the same time, and that sort of gets to the next point here, which is that the unemployment rate seems to be a little bit higher than typical for a non-recession period, and that's giving a little bit of uncertainty to state economists, and that is impacting their revenue forecasts at the moment. Unfortunately here, this last bullet in the revenue forecast section, the forecast reduced the expected gap in funding to $600 million. The number's not actually there, but just wanted to make sure that you all are aware of that. And so, essentially what we're looking at is some key indicators of the economy are showing positive signs, but there is still a lot of uncertainty and about, specifically, how the labor market is being impacted by things like AI and other technological changes and that sort of thing, right? So more to come on that, but this is the revenue forecast that the legislature is going to base the adjustments to the state budget on for this session. So, this is the last one before they have to decide on how to make those adjustments. So 600 million is the gap that we're hearing at this point. Next, I'll just move on to, just a couple updates here. As we know, agencies did present proposals for potential cuts. And Chair Harrington, she testified on behalf of this board to the legislature. I think it was last Tuesday, to the Joint Ways and Means Committee, highlighting the top priorities for the county in terms of preventing cuts there. And there was a lot of public testimony from stakeholders around the state. And so there's certainly going to be a lot of difficult decisions for the legislature to make at this time. But with that, I'll just go ahead and pass it off to my team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Good morning, board. Chair Harrington. For the record, my name is Carly Silva Gabrielson, one of your government relations managers. And I'm going to cover in the next few slides update on the economic development package, which is the Oregon Jobs Act, Senator Stolman's bill that we have talked about in length, and Senate Bill 1586, as well as the governor's more recently released bill, which is House Bill 4084. Both of the bills are designed to support Oregon's economic growth and ability to compete with other states by incentivizing business development. And the governor's bill in particular does align with the prosperity roadmap that we saw released at the end of last year. And of course, that sets the goals of retaining businesses, growing businesses and catalyzing job creation, and just accelerating economic growth across the state. So a few things within House Bill 4084 to highlight is that it does establish a joint permitting council that will oversee fast track permitting at state agencies. It also will create a permit catalog at state agencies to streamline the process. And there is also a fiscal ask of $40 million that will go to Business Oregon's Industrial Site Loan Fund to prepare sites for development. And then we are seeing several components that impact enterprise zone modernization. Those include lowering job thresholds so smaller businesses can participate in rural enterprise zones. There also are going to be added metrics that will allow for business retention, productivity, revenue improvements, and other qualifying criteria. The governor's bill also proposes to expand eligible business categories beyond the current restrictions, particularly for traded sector businesses. And like the Solomon bill, it would extend enterprise zone exemptions beyond 5 years and allow for more of a flexible hiring timeline. Next slide, Erin. Thank you.
Can we ask questions?
How would you like us to ask questions, during each slide or at the end?
Whatever works for the board. So I will pause for a question now.
I would like to ask a question. The second bullet under the governor's bill modifies enterprise zone criteria. You said it reduces the employment numbers. And is that only for rural? What comes to mind is the question on everybody's mind, frankly, is around data centers and what enterprise zone employment numbers are in relationship to tax breaks.
That's a great question, Commissioner Treese. I do know that we're expecting a forthcoming amendment, particularly about the job creation thresholds. In the first informational hearing that the governor's office held with the committee, there was some questions, particularly from members from rural communities asking for those thresholds to be lowered. I don't have the bill in front of me, but I believe the initial proposal was a minimum of 500 employees. So let me dig deeper and I'll follow with that exact criteria.
Okay, and the other question is, I thought I read Friday that there were going to be changes to the Oregon Jobs Act around enterprise zones as well.
That's exactly right. That's a perfect segue for me to highlight that. On Saturday, it was reported in the Oregonian what many of us have been hearing late Friday afternoon, and what Senator Solomon actually flagged was that there will be a forthcoming amendment that fully removes the enterprise zone component from the Oregon Jobs Act. That will leave that bill with the land use piece and then the advanced equipment tax exemption. So I think the senator heard from some folks that were providing feedback on that, on those details. However, the governor's bill really proposes the same things that we saw in the enterprise zone components in Solomon's bill. So Now the conversations that we've been having with a coalition with AOC, with the assessors, we're speaking with the governor's office about how to make those enterprise zone expansions workable for local governments. So again, just to highlight, the enterprise zone components from Senator Solomon's bill will be removed in a forthcoming amendment.
So they basically are I guess they offset one another, right? Isn't that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there are some additional, I would say, enterprise zone expansions in the governor's bill related to the modernization, related to the job creation thresholds and other metrics. So, but you're right that they are very complementary, and the governor's bill provides that overlay that is going to cover the proposals in the senator's bill.
But our bottom line remains the same, that we cannot support any bill that increases the burden on financially on the county, and that includes assessment and taxation with regard to enterprise zones.
That's right, Chair Harrington. We're continuing to have the conversations about cost recovery and speaking with people about the work that the assessor's office has been doing.
Can we move to the next slide? Since the questions are about the Jobs Act.
Should I pause for your question, Commissioner Willie?
Yeah, if it's okay, Chair, I just had one question on the last one, and I'm interested in the governor's bill appropriating $40 million for industrial strike readiness. I mean, $40 million doesn't go very far. Even if we had industrial sites that needed to get them ready, which I think that's the whole point of Senator Solomon's bill, is that we don't have industrial land available. So $40 million seems to me to be a poor attempt at throwing money at providing funding for industrial site readiness. I mean, $40 million basically purchases 40 acres and certainly doesn't provide for the preparation of them to be site ready. So I'd be interested to know what the governor actually thinks that $40 million is going to do.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. I'm happy to dig deeper and provide that information in the memo. Okay, well, to jump back into the Oregon Jobs Act, so just wanted to highlight the bill revision request that the board did support in our last meeting. So we are still anticipating that that land use piece will be addressed in the forthcoming amendment as well. And really, since our efforts with the enterprise zone cost recovery is really shifting to engaging with the governor's office in those conversations, I've now been focused on the local option capital equipment exemption, specifically to clarify who is going to be responsible for the appraisal and the assessment of the equipment. Conversations surrounding that do indicate that that will be with the Department of Revenue, and we're just involved in ensuring that that language fully covers all of those assessment pieces and appraisal pieces. And then, of course, if the counties do play a role at all, we want to ensure that there is cost recovery for that component of Senator Solomon's bill. Next slide, please. And I submitted these slides at the end of last week before I got the news that the enterprise zone exemption was going to be removed from the senator's bill. So we could strike the Oregon Jobs Act at the top and plug in the governor's bill. So we are requesting, of course, these same pieces as Chair Harrington covered. So look forward to updating the board on our efforts in the memo this week and in our forthcoming conversation. And so I'll just pose a policy question for more board interaction. Does the board have additional information needs about the proposed economic development packages? We're missing a word there.
Board, any?
Not beyond Commissioner Willie's question, I think, which was a good one about what's the 40 million really going to accomplish.
Nothing for me, Chair and staff. I think these are things that I think we're very closely monitoring, and I myself have a opinion about land use bills around in the short sessions. But besides for the as the board here, I don't have any informational needs, and I think you all are doing a great job keeping me up to date on some of these movements, and just know that we're with you in this journey, and we're I'm individually tracking these two bills, and um, have been carrying some of the revisions that you're requesting in any of the conversations that I'm involved in, and then also articulating my own thoughts about these bills, particularly the 1586 bill.
Commissioner Treese,
You've answered my questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Willie? Nothing from him and nothing from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, board. And I will turn over to my colleague, Zucker.
Commissioners, for the record, Zaka Khan, Government Relations here at Washington County. I'm just going to be providing an overview because you've got sort of detailed information on this slide and also within your memo regarding the status of the immigrant rights package. What I will say is that it's really unclear at this moment what bills will be moving forward. And within your memo, we talked about a House Bill 4001, which will sort of become the consolidated, it seems like it'll become the consolidated item or bill rather, that is, bills are consolidated into, especially from this list that will be moving forward. What's clear right now is that the package is unclear, so to speak. It's not really fully clear what is moving forward at this moment. There's a lot of work that's actually taking place behind the scenes, and I'll say between legislators and a variety of stakeholders, whether it's AOC, ourselves, law enforcement, there's a really strong collaborative spirit to ensure that there's no unfunded mandates that end up within this legislation. I'd say bill drafters are working really hard, chairs of committees are working really hard to really understand what is the nexus to the bills to local governments and local entities, and how can we eliminate any unnecessary fiscals upon those entities. And so as a result, because we're kind of still in a waiting period and still working on bill details for a number of these different issues, we're still awaiting sort of the final outcome for what those negotiations will hold in terms of the fruit that they will bear in terms of the final product. The second thing I'll add to this conversation within this overview is that it's unclear how some of these bills are going to clear the supremacy clause. And so some of them may be applying to local governments and then not touching upon the supremacy clause, but if there are bills that sort of touch upon the supremacy clause, and one that comes to mind from the list on your screen right now is House Bill 4114, Protect Your Door Act, which strengthens one's Fourth Amendment protections. If anyone enters one's home illegally, you can sue them personally for damages. So it's not clear how that particular bill is going to be clearing the supremacy clause. And as a result, because of that sort of being a weighing factor, you can see how these discussions are ongoing and how legislators are constantly working with legislative counsel to clear any potential bars. And then we can go to the next slide. And so this is just a list of Senate bills that are also being utilized within this conversation. You can see there's a lot of bills on this list, and so they're trying to identify, what from the package holds the most weight, what potentially is a long session bill, as things get further explained to committees, and maybe what are some things that they potentially need to bring some experts into the committee to further explain it from like national organizations. And so I know all of this is still in process, but I just wanted to update the board in terms of where things are. And then we can go to the next slide. And so the question here is, does your board want more information about bills related to the immigrant rights package? And I'll say it's both the immigrant rights package and also the federal response package. And there's a host of other bills that are part of that federal response, but some of the bills that were included in the previous two slides are also part of that federal response package.
Commissioners?
I have one question. Zucker, thank you for this. On the last slide, SB 1581, school meals for all. I assume that there's costs associated with that, and is the state, when you said that there wouldn't be state unfunded mandates, is that an unfunded mandate that goes to the school districts?
Yeah, so Commissioner, I'd have to look into that and get back to you. I do know that there's a devotion by the legislature to try to cover some of the children that are being negatively impacted by their families being deported. And so this might be something I just need to further explore, and I'll get back to you.
It just that it seems expansive in that it's for all students.
Yes.
That's my question, really.
And I think not my job to be reporting on this, but I believe this is Senator Neron Mislin's
Is it?
bill. I think maybe the staff can confirm that. But my understanding is that almost the entire state now is covered. Like every school in the state is covered with the exception of very few, like maybe 21 that are left that don't already have this.
You mean public schools?
Yes, public schools, and they're trying to close that gap in part. And I think it's part of the broader, I hope the government relations team can confirm that or
I didn't realize that we offered.
it's
across the
almost
state
full coverage
full
now.
coverage.
So this is trying to,
Okay, that's
my understanding of what she described at the AOC session last night was that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think that,
Commissioner
ahead,
Snyder is
Zachary.
correct that, yeah, sorry, I started to jump in here, but Commissioner Snyder is correct. It is Senator Neron Mislin's bill.
Tucker, that's also a bill that's part of the anti-hunger package. Any other bills that we should consider in the anti-hunger package as well?
Commissioner, I'll look into that and get back to the board within the memo.
Thank you.
Commissioner Treese, did you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Fye, do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Snyder?
Nope.
Commissioner Willie? And I don't have anything more other than to say that all of the items that are listed out related to an immigrant rights package, that's a fast-moving train, which will continue to have a lot of different perspectives and emotions involved. I think we're trying to make sure we're focused on what we do as a county government and our costs in our role as county commissioners. I'm grateful for the direction that we have provided previously to our staff over the last year and a half that has ensured that we are doing what we can to protect our most vulnerable community members through the responsibility, authority, and funding we receive from the federal government as well as the state. So thank you. I know there's an awful lot for you to chase. I hope that all of our representatives and senators are able to spend enough time during this 35-day short session to be mindful of what they're considering for budget cuts and the impacts to us as a county government, while they're also looking at all kinds of other policy packages. It's quite a challenge. So, all right. Okay, board, another question. Who wants to go first?
Do you need any further information about anything that was not covered by the team today that we can bring back to you?
I'm glad you had that question. As the chair was speaking, I remembered one need or what your thoughts were on if the board should weigh in on and I don't know what the bill number is, but the disconnect bill.
Right now, we're still
What's
going.
the impact to us, or like what is, yeah.
Commissioner Vite, thank you for the question. The disconnect bill, just for those that aren't aware, is there is a bill out there that will disconnect state definitions of revenue from the federal definitions of revenue for purposes of shoring up further revenue collection within the state. We have traditionally been specifically tied to the federal definitions. That bill is under consideration, and we are trying to find the nexus to county work other than the general state's budget impacts our budgets question. So we are still going through that bill for consideration. We'll bring back details of that in the memo for your consideration and further conversation.
Commissioner Snyder, anything?
Well, just on that point, that would specifically have an impact on SHS revenue, right?
Yes, it would.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
Any update on the transportation?
Yes, Commissioner Teresa, I'm so glad you asked. I did not have an update when I created the slides last week. However, as you all know, the session moves very, very rapidly. So two things that I would love to just flag for the board is that yesterday we saw the first public hearing on the bill to move the election on the referral for House Bill 3991, the short session bill on transportation. Again, the first hearing was held yesterday, and there was a very robust turnout providing public testimony. And we are expecting another public hearing on that bill. And then today at 3 o'clock, we are actually going to be having the first hearing on the redirect. So that is taking place in the Joint Committee on Ways and Means Subcommittee on Transportation and Economic Development. And the redirect is going to be proposing various revenue streams from House Bill 2017 that could be utilized to backfill approximately it's about $282 million for the 26 to 29 biennium. So I will have more of an update for the board in the memo on Friday, but yes, this is moving very rapidly.
And I testified last night to try to kill some bad transportation bills.
Is that the 50, 30, 20?
Well,
Just send your talking points.
Yeah,
That'll
thank
be
you.
helpful.
Okay.
Commissioner Willie, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's consistent with my comment that I was going to make. I have been asked to testify tomorrow on House Bill 4105, which is the Sustainable Harvest bill, which is basically the same bill that I testified on last year. Brandon Persinger with AOC is going to be working with Maida and I on the talking points, but would you like me to run those by you guys before I testify, and certainly would ask for any input that you may have on that?
You
Yes,
can't
please.
see Aaron's head shaking, yes, so.
Yes, please, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So just to remind the board members, when you testify, please make sure that either you independently or through your staff assistant or GR staff get your testimony talking points out to the full board. And it looks like Commissioner Fye, you want to take a second bite at this question.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Chair. What's another nexus I'm looking into, and this is a bill that I not testified, but wrote a letter in support, is the Superfund bill for climate resilience Superfund. I don't quite remember the name. Any of the GR, does that ring a bell?
Did you send it to them?
Not yet. I did this as an individual person, and I'm happy to send the board.
Well, as we've discussed and gone through training previously, whenever we testify, we walk in with the full brand.
Okay.
You have every right to testify as an individual, but you owe it to the agency as well as to your board colleagues to provide any written or verbal testimony to the staff as well as to the board.
I will do this immediately.
Commissioner Fye, I believe that bill falls in my portfolio, so I'll take a look and follow up with you on any questions that you may have in the county's position.
Okay, yeah, in my opinion, it's a great bill, and I think I hope it passes. And it's about accountability and fairness, and it's about if you make a mess, you help clean it up.
Thank you for that.
Anyone else wanting a second bite at the apple? Okay, so I will say no, I don't have any additional information need at this time, but I do, with GR on the line, think it's appropriate for me to give a report out at the AOC Ledge Committee yesterday. You should all have the action item update memo from Mallory Roberts. If you don't, let me know and I'll forward it to you. the Ledge Committee ended up adopting all of the recommendations from the committee. We did have a robust discussion on House Bill 4134, the statewide transient lodging tax. The committee recommendation was to support a specific section of that bill, Section 2C sub B, allocating funding for wolf predation compensation fund. Sadly, in taking the recommendation off of the slate, the discussion was moved sideways by one of our state colleagues who's also a candidate running for governor to have a far-reaching conversation about state TLT. So after much conversation, we were able to get the conversation back to the specific steering committee recommendation. And there was a strong voice of support. So just wanted to advise you on that. So onward ho we go.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Commissioners. We'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
luck.
Keep up the good work in the building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. The next item that we have before lunch is an executive session. So at this juncture, I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session for the Board of County Commissioners pursuant to ORS 192.660, sub 2, sub F, for the purposes of discussing exempt records.
So moved.
Second.
This means Commissioner Willie, you won't be able to join us for the exec session, so we'll see you back here at 1 o'clock, time certain. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. We're hereby